Hello there, Internet peeps. It's your good buddy Rue, back from a long hiatus to talk about comic books. A couple things before I get started. I really do want to apologize for my absence recently. I know that the three of you who watch these missed me greatly. Um, my medication and I have been on apparently I've had a conflict of interest recently, and I'm slowly but surely coming back to my normal self. And I've been really itching to talk comic books. I'm really glad I'm able to do this again. Um, One kind of important note, if you watch this over at the Outhousers, that's www.theouthousers.com, the greatest website in all of creation. I am not going to be typing these out anymore for the foreseeable future. Part of my problem recently has been I lose interest in I lose interest in things very quickly, and it gets kind of depressing. And so I find myself typing out the script, and then I get bored with it, so I stop, which has happened about 5 times. So I'm going to try to wing this one. So here we go. Comic books. Punisher. I'm still doing trades. I'm still reading myself out. Sorry. You can still kind of see up there. We have still some work to go. I've made a pretty good dent since last time you saw us, so we're going to start off with Punisher Volumes 2 and 3. I've already reviewed Volume 1, and this is the Greg Rucka stuff. This is what he did before he left Marvel because they decided to be a bunch of dicks and steal the Punisher away from him for Way's Thunderbolts. It's actually got a lot better after the first issue. Not the point. If Garth Ennis's run, Welcome Back Frank, whatever, wherever you want to say that starts, in 2000 on up, is basically the run of the 2000s for Punisher. I know it's only 3 years in, but I'm fairly certain we can say that Greg Rucka's Punisher run is going to be up on the list for the run of 2010s, whatever we're going to call this stupid decade. The difference between this Punisher and a lot of other Punishers is he's more, I think he's definitely more human in what Greg Rucka's doing, with the addition of Marine Sergeant Rachel Cole. See, I can read. It's not just pretty pictures. Has really done a very good job of bringing the Punisher back into, not reality, but back into a realism that you're like, okay. You see him interact with someone who's never met him before. You see him try basically see if he can, this person he can work together, or if she does need to be punished. Is very interesting dynamic. I do not like how young they've made Frank look in these issues. Let's see if I can find a good, yeah, right there. When compared to stuff that came out just 5 years ago, Frank looks a lot younger. I don't know how good the speakers are on my computer, but you might hear my son screaming. That's because it's bedtime and he is morally opposed to the idea. So no, nobody is abusing the little Ruru. I cannot wait to get Volume 4, Warzone. I have no idea how many volumes there are of this. I just kind of keep buying them when I remember to. I know that he had a Warzone 5-issue thing that capped his run. Just read anything Greg Rucka writes. I don't know. I hope I'm not the person who has to tell you this. Gotham PD, whatever that was called, read Queen and Country. That's all you need to know. As much as I love Greg Rucka's Punisher stuff, go read Queen and Country, and then tweet, Facebook, and just bother Greg Rucka as much as possible until he writes more in a comic book format. I do enjoy the novels, though. Thief of Thieves, Volume 2. Help me not ever read this one again. I think Andy Diggle's taking over after this collection, which is Volume 2 of Thief of Thieves, and Thieves of Thieves Volume 1 was fantastic. It was like a modern day Parker. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was utter crap. Jonathan Kirkman, I know that's not right. Robert Kirkman does the stories, but this Asmus guy, I don't know how you say his name, and I don't need to. I'm never going to read his crap again. This was just a jumbled mess of I have no idea what's going on. Our little art problem here, which is Sean. Well, I'm not even going to bother trying. That guy right there. I like the style of his art. Like, it's very, very good for. It's almost good for noir. It's like. But the problem is everything kind of looked the same. People's heights or. Each character wasn't consistent enough for me to remember what they were supposed to look like from issue to issue, sometimes page to page. Even looking at this, I have no idea if this is supposed to be the main character or his son. Just looking at the cover, which I'm sorry, I kind of think is a problem. for a visual medium, for me not to be able to instantly recognize the characters. But Andy Diggle's coming on, and I'm willing to give him a chance. So I might pick up Volume 3, but definitely something I'm going to read reviews of first, because Volume 2 is... It took me like 4 days to get through it because I kept getting angry at it, but I had to finish it. Just for you. Oh, the Utopiates. Here's a nice little tip for anybody out there. If you have Twitter or Facebook, but I found this works much better with Twitter, and you write up reviews or you do these little vlogs that everybody's doing, join Twitter. Start following independent creators, not just name ones, but independent creators, because they're really looking for press. And Newsarama, CBR, and all the corporate places, they give kind of lip service to independent comics, but they need a voice. And sometimes if they say, hey, does anybody want to review a comic, they send you ones for free. Or if you have an iPad or any kind of digital thing, they'll send you PDFs. And they appreciate honesty. I think one of the reasons I enjoy what I do and the feedback I've gotten, I hope I'm a fair reviewer. I hope I don't play favorites or hate on people. Heck, I think recently I gave Victor Gischler some credit. Oh, for the Spike trade. Go over to Outhouses and read my review of that for the Spike trade. I actually gave him credit for not sucking donkey tits. They might send you free stuff, and lots of the time the free stuff is awesome. This is called Utopiates. It's by Josh Finney and Kat Rocha, or Rocha. I'm not sure, but she's a cool person. She actually posts a lot at the Outhouses in the forums, and she's on Twitter, and so is Josh Finney, and he's actually seemed pretty nifty also. This is basically a graphic novel, I'm going to say, and I really hope a Volume 2 comes out. Actually, don't tell them I said this. Don't buy this. Well, maybe. If you're okay with waiting, get this, but if you're not, don't buy this until you know there's a Volume 2, because that's really kind of annoying. It's like waiting for a Stephen King sequel. Basically about a drug that alters your DNA to fit whoever's the DNA of the drug that was made from. So you can become a soldier, an architect, or all these, somebody who had a healthy family life. And I think you can imagine anybody who's going out there looking for drugs, the thought process is many of them did not have a healthy family life, so this would be an interesting drug for them to have. Yes. But the art here is fantastic, and I think that is primarily... That's both Josh and Kat. Some of the stuff, like you have this nice combination of comic book art and realism. It's not quite photorealism, and it's definitely not Greg Land tracing. This is just really good art. There are times that, like right here, this is basically like the equivalent of a confession room, like a reality show. This guy talking about just how rough his life has been and everything that's gone wrong since he started taking drugs and stopped taking the drugs. Just looking into his eyes, I felt uncomfortable. I really felt like I was infringing on this guy's personal space, which is a testament to how good the art was. The story is fantastic. The idea of drugs that can turn you into other people and the addictive nature of it, and how the military and everybody could use this technology. It is actually really, really... It's not a fun story, but it's a good story, and I would recommend picking that up. I also recommend joining Twitter and trying to get free shit, because free is good. This is The Authority. I don't know where I put the dust cover. This is The Authority Volume 1 hardcover. I've actually been waiting for a very long time for them to actually start collecting The Authority in a way that I understand the order in which to read them, because a lot of the trades I see in the comic book, like I have no idea where to start, so I never started. The Authority is basically one of those books that's credited with creating the idea of comics working as movies. I don't know if it created storyboards for comics or whatever, but the big splash pages, the epicness of trying to look like a movie screen. The Authority is one of the books from the 90s that is credited with that. It's Warren Ellis, Brian Hitch, before they became Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. And I think if I'd read this when it was coming out, I would love it. But as it is, I liked it okay. Brian Hitch, I gotta say, in a decade plus, really has not changed as an artist, which makes Age of Ultron's laziness even more lazy, in my opinion. Warren Ellis, I think, has come a long way, but can still tell a good story like this, but also more thought-provoking stuff. We all know how good Warren Ellis is. Up until the very last page, I was probably not going to rush out and get Volume 2. but I don't really see. I don't feel the revolutionary aspect that is this comic. Sometimes when you're reading things that change like 20 years later, that change the landscape of everything, you feel it. V for Vendetta, Preacher, Camelot 3000, the Marvels, little things like that. Like, yeah, I might not have read when it came out, but V for Vendetta still is a phenomenal trade, and you can see just what Alan Moore and Gibbons did there, and just how fantastic and different it was. The Authority, I don't get that feeling. I get, okay, this started a trend that's still going on, and it probably is one of the reasons we had Old Man Logan, which kind of makes me hate this. But then the last issue, and this is the first 12. I'm about to pre-order Volume 2. The last issue was fantastic. I actually instantly became emotionally attached to many of these characters throughout the book. Jenny Sparks is just... I love her. I'm going to pick up The Authority Volume 2, and I would recommend reading The Authority, but don't expect your mind to be blown. Go in with a level head. It's just a good superhero comic where... yeah, I guess there's a little bit of stuff you need to know beforehand, but I didn't know any of the Wildstorm crap, and I was able to follow it. So if you are intelligent, you can too. So maybe some of you should read it. I'm going to skip this, maybe next time. Deadpool Max, the Ultimate Collection. This is both volumes, all the one-shots. I stopped reading Deadpool Max Volume 2 because I knew eventually this would come out. I didn't get any of the trades. I waited patiently. I picked it up, and I read it. And I remember the other reason I dropped Deadpool Max Volume 2 was because it just wasn't very good. The art is great. I love Kyle Dagner. If anybody else drew like this, I would probably think that they were just full of crap. But from Plastic Man to this, to a whole bunch of the other stuff that he writes, I think he was perfect for this book. David Lapham... The problem with this book and many of the Max books I found is, unlike with Vertigo, where, hey, we can cuss, we can show nudity, we can be obscene, we can be bloody, we can be gory, but we don't always have to. The Max books seem to always be like, ooh, we're R-rated, let's show it off, let's be just juvenile. And I know this is very strange to say of a Deadpool comic. This was R-rated juvenile, and I don't know if I'm being a snob. I don't know what it is, but I just really didn't find this all that funny or interesting or clever. And even the story was rather mundane and tried way too hard to be crazy and didn't try to write a good story that happened to have a crazy person in it. I love Deadpool. I'm going to continue to love Deadpool. My son today started pointing out Deadpool. He's 2 years old and he goes, Deadpool. I was so happy. He also sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game for the first time tonight. And I've had a really good day as a dad. He's coming along nicely. I'm going to say don't get this. If you're not a Deadpool freak and have to have everything, flip through it in the store. Wait for go look through the soft covers. The art is phenomenal. If you're really into art, pick this up. But if you're interested in a good Deadpool story, tell Marvel that we need a Joe Kelly Deadpool omnibus. Yes. That's what this world needs. A Joe Kelly Deadpool omnibus. Now I'm just being... Yeah. Start with your Deadpool classics. Joe Mad and Joe Kelly working together. This is Volume 2 of Deadpool Classic. This is 2 through 8, so you kind of have to get Volume 1 also, because it's the Mark Waid miniseries in it, and it also has the Fabian's mini. This is actually really good get this now. Screw everything else I've just told you by. Go get Deadpool Classics #1. It actually is really funny. I've read all these minis, all the issue in there many times, and that still makes me laugh. For a good Deadpool story, go get Deadpool Classics Volume 1 and Volume 2 and stop when it hits issue 25, because that's when Joe Kelly leaves, and then tell Marvel that you want it all in one big, beautiful omnibus where it says, Deadpool, Joe Kelly. I think this one pretty well thought of script. Let me know what you think. Again, Facebook, RUViews, Twitter, I am Garu, The Outhousers. Ooh, my wife has actually started joining me in some of the things I write on The Outhousers. They're called Previews featuring wife. Marvel, for some reason, sends out every once in a while like these 4 pages, wordless previews of the comics, and I try to see if I can get her to guess what's going on. It's fun. You can look for them over The Outhousers. I guess I still use my Tumblr. You can look for them there too, and I'll throw a link up in the credits. Have a good one. I think I'm going to keep doing it like this for a while. Until then, later, peeps.